Good afternoon and evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Commander reporting here for duty as we begin round number 4 of the in-person qualifiers coming to you live from Genova, Italy. I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. In today's match here, we have Zambho on our right, piloting the Mono Red squad, versus Ricardo piloting the Mono Green team. Many people would assume that because we see Mono Red that Ricardo's on our right, but no, Ricardo is in fact on the left. As before, we are kind of using the relay system here to bounce things from Genova down through Google Meets over here to the Discord, and then I'm beaming it to you live via YouTube, so please bear with us if we have any technical difficulties. Hopefully we don't. And of course, as always, if you need any adjustment on the audio levels, I will endeavor to do the best for that. So, before the stream started, we did flip the coin there. You see our players going ahead fulfilling out the draft here. Ricardo's sporting, it looks like Akla, Kotlik, Ishatosk, and in reserve, I can't recognize, is that Neliklin? I always mess this up, or is that Tilikali? I believe that is based on the cards we see there. Oh, nope, we're putting that, no, I'm sorry, that's the Silent Ambassador. He has not put his hero off to the side there. So that looks to be in the far deep back there. I cannot actually see who that is with all those pillar tokens. It is a green hero. Anyways, moving on to Zambho's squad. He brings in Yami, always an excellent choice, as well as Miyuki and... Oh no, I'm sorry. Zambho actually does not have a mono red team. Because of the glare, I mistook one of them. So we are actually going to see some yellow compositions. I was going to say it looks like that is Satheru coming down there in the middle, and in fact it is, as the illusion token is there, and Sakoshi appears to be Zambho's reserve member as well. So now we're going to see what we have going on here. As we mentioned, this is round number 4. 16-person tournament here from Genova, Italy. We are attempting to bring you some live in-person reactions, as for those of us who joined last week, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, when we did the Florence qualifiers, we saw some great reactions. We saw Ricardo's burying his head in his hands 2 rounds in a row as he received some very unfortunate combo plays that devastated his team. We can only hope to see some sort of plays, not necessarily against him per se, but of that caliber today, because I think that we get one of those human elements in the live broadcast that we don't really get in Tabletop Simulator as good as it is. Right now, the players are just going through the mulliganing process here. We do see Ricardo discarding a Rampant Hatred, and Zambho discarding Psychic Shield and a yellow card that I did not see. Was that Exhaustion, perhaps? I couldn't see it before he placed Psychic Shield down. Meanwhile, our objectives, again, difficult to see as we do get used to the Tabletop Simulator and then realize how good we have it. It appears that we have some Tactician to be done here, as well as the Tamer. So with the original Outsider being spawned and what looks to be the Silent Ambassador on Dome number 3, very, very high probability that we will see some kills. So Kotlik going to move into the center token, asserting dominance, popping off one of Zambho's minions immediately there. Going to place a pillar, it looks like, in the cover hex. All right, so already setting up potential plays for the Ixotaxi, plays for Kotlik in round 3. Of course, Kotlik, not Kotlik, Akla, bringing Coma Toxin as the ultimate, useful for instantly defeating heroes. If you bring Yami or Miyuki down low, you can just instantly shoot them down. Makes it very, very effective in clearing them off the table, as Yami is quite durable, 18 hit points, 1 armor, and Miyuki known for making it exceptionally difficult to kill her with the mark effects, reducing your attack by 1 and preventing flips if you are within range 3 of her while you are marked. And then, of course, Satheru being Satheru and just doing Satheru things. We haven't seen as much of Satheru in recent times with the advent of the Psychic Shield, but Zambho going to go ahead and pilot him, raining down some terror on the field, as Satheru does bring yellow-red runes to the battlefield, and it looks like the other 3 heroes being all the red squad, Yami and Miyuki being red-yellow heroes themselves, means that, okay, well, Kneel Before Me is going to come out there on the flip, and we are going to deal some massive damage here. as we move the outsider out of the way. So Cytheru going to start off by punishing Kotlik's greedy move into the center there, dealing a ton of damage, summoning the illusion right next to Kotlik as well, and playing, it looks like, a Shattermind? Migraine? Shattermind? I think that's a Shattermind. We're going to deal some additional damage there, bring Kotlik down to 8, and then we're going to go ahead and skirmish against him. Playing, is that Ekrit's ultimate, I think I see? Nope, that is a Wind Blast. All right. Of course, it couldn't be Ekrit's ultimate. She's not in this game. Goodness. All right, so no damage on the skirmish. However, Kotlik already in significant amounts of pain, down to 8 hit points. I will endeavor to keep track of everything that's going on because, again, when you do so much work on TTS, you start to take certain things for granted, like keeping track of everybody's hit points and seeing who's flipping what. Meanwhile, Ishitos going in, speaking of punishing, we're going to flip over a +3 there, so Cytheru going to take 3 damage on the skirmish, bringing him down to 11. Oh, and 2 +3s in a row, so we won't see Combatoxin used necessarily for the insta-kill, but is used there to deal significant damage. Ishitosk then going to go ahead and exhaust at the end, having moved, skirmished, and attacked Cytheru, bringing Cytheru down to 6 hit points. So already round 1, and lots of violence has taken place. This being the case now with Cytheru's positioning, Akla may just try to go for the instant kill. That would mean that Ricardo would sacrifice any potential dome play, but removing Cytheru in round 1, very good. All right, we see a +3 on the flip, so both players are committing to try and kill each other off. Now, Miyuki does not have piercing, which means that Kotlik, with his +1 armor from the passive of having a pillar within his range, does mean he's only going to take 1 damage from that particular effect. Miyuki is going to go ahead and worship Akla. That means that there is no chance for Akla to get into Dome 3 to summon the Silent Ambassador, and would have to burn both the move and the skirmish actions in order to go and draw in Dome 2 if he wanted to challenge Yami. Of course, Yami may... Okay, we're going to play a Sacrifice. Ishitosk playing Sacrifice and a Doom response. All right, so in that situation, Ishitosk will take the 2 damage for the Sacrifice, but Kotlik will not heal the 4 damage. So, with only 7 hit points left, it would be a tall order for Yami to assassinate without a Shattermind of her own, or something of that nature that would allow her to deal additional damage, but it is possible. All right, meanwhile, we see a Clear Mind come down from Kotlik. That's going to go ahead and remove a condition. Looks like he is going to remove the slow, I assume. All right, that's going to allow him potentially to move towards his dome. That seems to be the case. He's still within range 3 of Miyuki, so attacking doesn't make too much sense, but skirmishing is still an option. Looks like that's what we're going to do. We're going to use 1, flip a -1 on the strength over pain, so no damage from the skirmish to Cytheru. Is he going to finish off and go into the dome? It does not look like that. Interesting. I would have thought he would have gone into the dome, although, to be fair, Yami can simply teleport into the dome after a worship action on either Ishitosk or Kotlik if she got a little bit closer, so that may not be the most advantageous play anyways. Oh, we are going to skirmish in. All right, sounds good. So that was a move and a skirmish. Now you need to lead, Ricardo, otherwise Yami just goes and takes it from you anyways. All right, very good. So now Yami has the choice. Does she draw in Dome 3, or does she go and take Dome 2 and allow each player to summon an outsider? Zambho would get to activate his outsider first, the original outsider, given that zone number 2 activates before zone number 3. Remember that on the Ashen Pass, both outsiders are summoned consecutively, then both outsiders are activated consecutively. So we would see the original outsider come forth and do whatever shenanigans he plans to do there. But it looks like we are going to go in for the Draw the Dome play as we place a worship action on Ishitosk. That's going to allow Yami to teleport behind Ishitosk. Flipping over, dealing 1 damage to Ishitosk there, 3 damage minus the 2 armor. And then we're going to go ahead and move. Oh, that makes sense, because this way we can move through the minions. So we flip over, destroy the minion, 1 plus the flip. Now we're inside the dome. We lead from the deck. We draw the dome. and that's going to ensure that no outsiders appear during the first round. So we see 3s from both of them. Of course, when you lead from the hand, you expect a 3. No surprises there. So we're going to go ahead and clean that up. We need to spawn the minions, as it was a draw in the lane as well. We see that the control token has not moved at all, so a very violent round number 1. The situation here now is Cytheru not in a good position. With Kotlik being able to activate here, Kotlik can simply move, or, well, you can't skirmish. There are minions blocking both pathways. So you can move over, punch Cytheru, and then on the chance that he's still surviving, as it would require a +3 on the flip, and we've already seen Ricardo flip a number of those, skirmish against him for the final kill. As Ricardo does have the flux, it's also possible we could see a turn 2 Rampant Hatred if he's drawing that. We did see him discard 1. Usually you want to hang on to Rampant Hatred if possible. All right, we see okay, is Akla activating? All right. This is also a useful thing here as well. We can have Akla using his passive ability to see Cytheru. Double flips there. Going to deal, what was that? Looks like a +1 on the flip, so 4 damage. All right, down to 2. Now you can go ahead and skirmish against Cytheru for the finish and then worship in the dome if you so chose. Akla's passive allows him to see anyone within line of sight of 3 of him, as well as being next to a pillar. They need to be okay. And then we see the Clear Mind, I guess? Well, regardless, Cytheru died. So we're going to skirmish into the dome. And because Cytheru has died, that means that, without activating, excuse me, I need to finish my thoughts. Cytheru has died without activating, which means Sakoshi comes in ready onto the battlefield. Akla is going to go ahead and exhaust. Oh, I see, that final flip there was the skirmish. That makes sense. All right, as we see from the move there. All right, so Sakoshi is going to move over. Sakoshi is going to teleport over to dome number 2, marking Kotlik. And again, similar to Akla, whenever heroes are marked, Sakoshi always has line of sight to them. So this should allow to snipe off a little bit more of Kotlik's health. Sakoshi does not have piercing, but it does also allow for some minion destruction. Oh, not what you want to see, though. +3 on the flip. So that would have been useful for the attack action. We see a response from Ricardo. I did not see what that is. Is it that Safeguard? No, that is Impervious. All right, so Impervious is going to give +2 armor. That's going to reduce this attack significantly. We do see it looks like a +2 and a +1 on the flip. So that's going to be a total of 5 damage, but Kotlik has 4 armor thanks to both the Pillar and the Impervious card, which means that he's only going to take 1 damage, bringing him down to 6 HP. Also, with Cytheru being dead, the piercing damage is gone, which means that 2 HP from Kotlik is going to be a little bit of a challenge for Zambho to rip through here if he wants to eliminate Kotlik entirely. All right, so Ishitosk going to, looks like skirmish? Not entirely certain what we're doing here. Are we potentially setting up for an Ixitaxi? We might be just going to bring everybody into the dome and say, surprise, Sakoshi, you're caught out. With the changes to Mark, Sakoshi is significantly more useful, but he is still just as squishy as ever. So Ishitosk going to be moved into the dome, and Kotlik moved into the cover hex using the Ixitaxi worship effect, as we call it. So worship destroys the pillar. Ishitosk is allowed to move himself +1 adjacent hero to a pillar location up to 6 hexes away, and then we just simply place the new pillar down there as well. Now Ishitosk is within the dome. We see a Gathering Storm to allow Ricardo to increase his hand size. Now, Sakoshi did not lead, which means that either Miyuki or Yami is going to have to come into this dome in order to contest, assuming that Ishitosk does a lead action during this process. We see a lead action from the hand. There we go. That makes sense. Skirmish, worship, and lead guarantees that either Ricardo gets the dome with the original outsider, or Zambho is going to have to send Miyuki or Yami into the dome with a worship action to contest that. That being said, it looks like we're going to see some outsider spawning, because if Yami goes over into the dome, that leaves Akla in dome number 2. However, with this particular play, what Zambho could do is go for a double dome control here, as it looks like Yami is going to start making moves on Akla. There's the worship action, and we see, is that another impervious? Yes, it is. All right, so that's going to deflect most of the damage from this flip. In fact, all of the damage, 2 damage on the flip, plus 2 armor, and we see, what do we have here? Is that fast? Looks like we're going to go fast. So, we are going to grab a minion, I assume, and come right back into the dome. Very good. Destroying the minion with the flip there. Oops. Made a slight miscalculation there because he just flipped against his own minion. So we now need to recalculate. Can you do this with a fast motion? Uh-oh. Looks like the answer is no. So, the question here now is, do you burn the skirmish action and tie the dome, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're going to go into this dome. That makes more sense. Now, this does mean that Miyuki is going to have to go into dome number 3, or Akla gets it for free, but at least we didn't end up wasting the fast card. So, as of right now, Yami needs to use her third action to lead. There it is. All right, so right now, assuming again, whenever players lead from the hand, we assume a 3. Therefore, we have a 5-4 in Zambho's favor in dome number 2. But Ricardo does have sole control of dome number 3. Now, of course, Miyuki does get to activate as the last. So it could be the case that Zambho actually ends up with a double dome play during the minion days if Ricardo does not move Kotlik in there. Ricardo may just decide that, okay, interesting positioning here. We see a reaction. Is that, what is that? Is that exhaustion? I can't see what that is off the top of my head. Doesn't help that I don't read Italian, unfortunately. All right, so, that is indeed exhaustion, as we see the mark switch to disarm. So we are going to tie the dome right now at 5-5. We're going to flip against that. 1 damage to Sakoshi, as the skirmish does 1 damage, cut in half by disarm. Rounded up does 1 damage. It looks like we're going to flip for the attack. 2 more damage against Sakoshi. All right, so with this being the case, Miyuki now gets her choice. Does she want to hard push the lane, or does she want to go for dome number 3? Because right now, dome number 2 is a draw at, we assume, 5-5. Of course, either player not placing a 3 means that everything I've said is inaccurate, but we're going to assume that both of them are 3 leads right now. So Miyuki gets her choice. In this situation, I feel that going for the Silent Ambassador would be the most beneficial play. If you move skirmish against Akla and then lead, then you can get control of Dome 3. It may also be the case that Zambho knows that with the Silent Ambassador having to spawn against the perimeter, Miyuki is really the only easily affected target by the Silent Ambassador, which means that overall he's feeling pretty safe. He might concede that if he wants to give up some lane, or if he wants to go for lane control, or if he wants to control the outsider. You can move Miyuki into the dome of lane 2, or control zone 2, and guarantee that he gets control of that, as the new card is not out yet. Although, to be fair, Ricardo does have, okay, nope, Ishitas could play the new card, as it is a blue card. So the new card we will be unveiling after this match. We know we've teased it a little bit. I gave the number of characters for what it was in the Discord in general before this match started. I don't know exactly how many games we're casting today. I know we're planning on a number of games, but I will give the new card information away at the end of this particular match there, as we see a minion die. And why did you lead with Miyuki? Because you have already led with, or is Yami not in the dome? Oh, Yami's not in the dome. Okay, that's why. My apologies. Okay, so math is difficult, and so is seeing the angles on the camera. So Yami is actually not in the dome. She is affecting the lane, so that is now actually a draw in the dome. That was my mistake there. So that is going to be a draw in lane 2. Certainly a victory in lane 1 by a lot. There. Oh, and Ricardo actually only has a 2 on Ishitosk. So drawing out that card there from Miyuki with a bit of a bluff play there. So the minions will reposition only if they're out of line of sight. So that's why you see Zambho only moving a couple. That minion is dead, Ricardo. There we go. All right, Zambho generously moving that off the field for him. So Ricardo does respawn 2 minions there, but that is still a lot of pressure on that tower. So with the 2 lead from Ishitosk and the 3 lead from Miyuki, that means that the outsider does spawn for Zambho, and the Silent Ambassador does spawn for Ricardo. Now the problem, as I mentioned earlier, is that everybody is in zone 2, which means the Silent Ambassador really can't do a whole lot in this scenario. The flips, well, without skirmishing. That being said, because everybody's in dome number 2, if the Silent Ambassador moves into range, then you just get to Stone Storm a whole bunch of people. That's really the extent of what you're going to be able to do, because if I'm not mistaken, the hex that Yami is in is a cover hex, so she can't be seen, which means she can't be targeted to possibly do some swap actions with Wormhole. Prediction, I guess, is an option, so I think that most likely the Silent Ambassador's actions are going to be some combination of move, predict, which I believe is called Farsight for the Silent Ambassador's ability, and then a Stone Storm onto Zambho's heroes. I don't really see too much else occurring from that. Alright, so we have the spawn there for the Silent Ambassador. And since nobody placed any tokens, I'm going to take a guess that victory card on the left is actually not Tactician. I can't see exactly what it is, so while they figure out their placement, we're going to go ahead and figure out what exactly that victory condition is. Let's take a look. Show me card library. Because even if I can't read it, I can still match up the images. No, that is Tactician. Okay, so they're just a little bit slow on putting the victory tokens down there. Okay, I thought that was Tactician. All right, so let's see. Outsider is activating, so we're going to Shockwave Ishitosk, it looks like. Then we're going, oh, and a +3 on the flip. So Shockwave does deal piercing damage, so that's going to bring Ishitosk down to 11. Very nice there. Then we are going to organize our cards, because taking care of the cards and keeping them in a neat pile is, of course, very, very important. And it looks like I may have missed a few of the other things while I was wrapping up, or Zambho has not decided yet what he wants to do. Nope, looks like we're still deciding here. So, the outsider, of course, being able to see inside and outside of the dome, as per its placement rules, does afford you a wide variety of action, in addition to the fact that it allows you to take free worship actions, it allows you to draw cards. I suspect that might have been one of the abilities used. And just very, very versatile overall. Alright, so I did miss a few things. I apologize for that. So the Silent Ambassador is going to activate. So there's the move like I suspected. Maybe? Come on, put him down. Drop it. Where's he going? Somewhere. Maybe? Nope, we're putting it back. Okay. Fake out. We've been fooled. Alright, so overall here, still thinking about the play. As it does look like we are experiencing a little bit of stuttering. Again, we do apologize, as we are kind of bouncing this through a couple different systems, so I'm sure that we are going to experience a few with the technological side of things. Hopefully in the near term. All right, so looks like so after the shockwave, Ishitosk was able to be wormholed with Akla, so that does move Akla into position for some potential kill shenanigans, although no one's really low on hit points except Sakoshi, so that's going to be a bit of a tall order right now. We have seen the Coma Toxin. the attack action against the minions. So interestingly enough, Ricardo did not move for the Stone Storm. You could have caught 2 of his heroes had you moved past Stone Storm. But such is the prerogative here of the activator, not the commentator. And we have a card down there. Was that just a discard at the end? He can't skirmish against anyone, so, or perhaps that was the predict. I think that might have been the Farsight prediction that he just discarded a card he did not enjoy. All right, so with that being the case, I think we are ready to go ahead and move into the next round here. So see if we just tinker with a few of these settings here, and then perhaps that will assist us in smoothing out the frame rate here just a little bit, as it seems to be coming into me a little bit better than it's going out. So I'm going to take the blame on this one. As much as I would love to blame Giacomo, I don't think this one is entirely his fault yet. But that doesn't mean to say that something else can't go wrong that I can't blame him for in the future. All right, so it looks like we are getting intermittent, stable streaming, sort of, kind of. Joseph says, why do we know the heroes, why they're in simple mode? I would assume, Tape, because they like the artwork. And because both Ricardo and Zambho are experienced enough players to know exactly what their heroes' abilities are, that they don't need to reference them. Otherwise, I have no idea. Is it the cool kid way to play? I would assume so. I mean, they're playing in person, so that seems to be pretty cool in of itself. All right, meanwhile, looks like Ricardo is taking an activation here. We're dropping a pillar down. I did not see who's activating, but I have to assume it's Akla because we're going to try and snipe Sakoshi. Despite the fact that we don't have Comatoxin, which is a darn shame, although to be fair, Miyuki is on the field with Caged Soul, which means that this might not, that wouldn't have worked anyways necessarily. We see a +2 on the skirmish. Looks like, there we go, 2 damage, bringing him down to 10 damage. Now we're going to go ahead and attack Akla, double flip there. We see a +1 and a +2, that's going to be 5 damage, bringing him down to 5. Oh, if only you had a Comatoxin, because now you could just instantly pop him if Miyuki did not have the Caged Soul. Unfortunately, that is life. You used it earlier to help kill off Satheru. So it looks like nobody actually put points on Tactician, so I have to assume that they're just good enough to keep track of the Tactician score. It is 2-1 in favor of Ricardo. Excuse me, in favor of Zambho. Ricardo did win Dome number 3, but Zambho won the lane and Dome number 2. So I will keep tally of that because they don't seem to want to. Although, to be fair, as I am probably somewhere in the realm of 3,000 plus kilometers away from them, I don't think that I would be able to come in and, okay, we've got, oh, we did not see Comatoxin. What did we flip then? That must have been from below, from Ishitosk. I could have sworn I saw the Comatoxin flip earlier. I am wrong. And I am now excited because Comatoxin, for those of us who have never seen it before, instantly defeats a hero that is at half HP or less, which, surprise, Sakoshi is at. Which means if there is no Miyuki Caged Soul to save him, or a healing card, which red and yellow don't really have, there is, and you can't sacrifice on yourself, Sakoshi's the only one to have a green card, we are about to see Sakoshi go to sleep. Permanently. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I am so sad that I mishyped that because I would have been expecting that play a lot more if I would have been paying better attention. So I apologize for misleading everyone and thinking Comatoxin was not an option because it clearly was. That is awesome. So Sakoshi defeated, removed from the game. That means the hero's score is now 4-2. Ricardo in a very good position. Although the minions are pressed up against his tower, he now has definitive minion advantage, which means that as long as he then goes and protects his tower from exploding, he should be able to bleed Zambho out. He still has activations with both Kotlik and Ishitosk remaining. And then, of course, Nelaklin is waiting in reserve to come in. So we do see the time glitch on Yami. So Yami is going to activate now. She's going to worship on Akla. So Akla is exposed, but Akla has 15 hit points. We see 2 damage on the flip. And frankly, Yami does a lot of damage, but she's got to use that ability to clear out minions, because at this point, Zambho's really only route to victory is through Nexus Destruction. So we see the move followed by the attack to clean out Ricardo's minions. That does mean that Yami is not able to worship, not able to lead. That being said, she is in a very commanding position there. She has, let's see, a control value of it looks like 6. So if Miyuki comes down here and has a lead action, that could potentially make it up to 10. Ricardo would need to kill off a few minions and lead himself in order to prevent total destruction. Putting the tokens down. Okay, so I don't have to keep track anymore. That's good. So, what is our next action going to be? Well, in this situation, Miyuki has to go. She's at response. He has both Kotlik and Ishitosk remaining, so I think that you send one to defend your lane. I think you have the other one occupy the outsider of your choice. Given the fact that both Miyuki and Yami are going to be pressed around your Nexus, both the original outsider as well as the Silent Ambassador would be efficient here for doing shenanigans to further just kill off more of Zambho's heroes. And so it's really just a matter of preference. All right, so does it look like Miyuki has played Doom? Okay, we have played Doom down as Kotlik is going, and there is a response. We have Impervious come down as well. So, is it going to be the case that we're going to apply a Shield Slam, perhaps, to Miyuki? I don't really see any other reason to respond with Impervious. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That Impervious could have been the flip from Doom. As Doom does require you to flip a face-up card, so that could have been the result there. He still would have 2 mana left. Hatred, you can pop the Flux and go ahead and do that. And then potentially do some damage to Miyuki if you so chose. It would not be the most efficient use of Rampant Hatred, but nevertheless, bringing Miyuki low is something you want to do. If you're going for Total Annihilation, of course, Zambho may also choose to just play the game and go for a Tactician. Also, finally removing Cythera's Worshipped action icon token, because he's been dead for quite some time, but, you know, the dead never truly leave us. Their memories stay with us for the rest of our lives. Until we just completely remove them from the field like that. All right, so it looks like that Kotlik is going to go for the lead action. So this is actually going to force Miyuki to stay and lead in the dome if he doesn't want to give up the outsider. So we're also going to summon a pillar down there just because why not? Or because we might be looking to Ixotaxi people. Also an option as well. As Kotlik is currently out of the, or excuse me, not Kotlik, Akla is currently outside of the line of sight of the lane control token, so Ishitosk may come up, grab him, and bring both of them in there. We can do a move, we can do a worship, we can do a lead, and that will prevent significant amounts of damage. Also, I see, is that Crawling Darkness it looks like? Yes, it is. Crawling Darkness is now going to apply double status effects here. Miyuki is going to be slowed down there, so that's going to actually force her to stay in the dome. And now in this situation, what is she going to do? She's going to, I assume, attack Kotlik, although Kotlik has 2 armor, so that doesn't seem to be very beneficial. You could worship on him, although that, again, doesn't feel very good. It doesn't really do too much. It would apply a slow for the next round. You could also skirmish, but by skirmishing, you're going to be not influencing anything if you lead the dome. I think attack and lead, or worship and lead, are your best options. Although he is pointing to see him go there, although I'm not sure what the purpose would be, unless he has a plan to try and kill Akla. That is a possibility. Nope, looks like we're just going to go ahead and target. Oh, we're moving people over. All right, so we are taking victory spoils here. It appears that Ricardo has captured and taken prisoner the bodies of Zambho's heroes. Those are all beautifully painted minis in Ricardo. So we see the flip there against Kotlik doesn't really do too much, and the lead from the deck from the hand in order to prevent Kotlik from getting a free outsider. Now the question becomes, what does Ishitosk do? So I think the problem here is, let me do some math real fast. If we leave Ishitosk in the dome, then Ricardo just loses the game. So that can't be the case there. So we're going to move within range here, or skirmish, I guess, if we flip against Yami. Try to deal some light damage. Nope. We're going to move. That was a move action, although reconsidering how we want to position ourselves here. As positioning in Skytear, very, very important. And I think in this situation, you move over, you grab Akla, taxi them both within range, and then lead after you're done worshipping. And that will provide enough of a balance that you don't instantly lose. As Yami did not lead, let's see. The other option, of course, you can also move, attack, and worship. This will essentially result in the same net control value for you. So currently, as it stands, it is 5-1. So Ricardo does not lose the game here. Ishitosk doing any sort of a lead action will only serve further reduce the damage done to Ricardo's tower at this point, which seems to be very beneficial. There we go. So that's going to, if we assume that that's a 3, that gives a 5-4. So 1 tower damage. Ricardo is going to be perfectly all right with taking 1 tower damage. That being said, no other real advantages are going to be gained here. I assume we're going to draw in the dome, although we did see that Ricardo led with a 2 earlier, so that might not be a 3 card from Kotlik. All right, so let's see. We have a 3 card. I can't see what it is, but it doesn't matter because we're doing leads. We have a Rampant Hatred, it looks like, maybe for that. And, oh, we've got 2 Rampant Hatreds being burned as leads. You hate to see that because you love to see them played, but nevertheless, those cards will both allow Ricardo to minimize damage in lane 1 and neutralize control of the outsider, however you prefer to call it. Now that will give Zambho an additional tactician point. That brings him up to 3 points at this stage. So halfway there. But as we mentioned, we're moving into round number 4. The mana counts get higher. And Zambho still has 2 heroes, as nobody's going to be respawning on the Ashen Pass. Also, I've seen in chat that Tape is getting anxiety from the tokens on the slotted table, and someone agrees with him. I will also agree with you, Tape, that does just scream for a whoops, and everything's below us now. So hopefully that is not the case, as that would be very unfortunate, and almost certainly result in an earthquake camera effect like we had the last time, which may or may not totally cancel out our stream, as we did experience during the Florence qualifiers. With that being said, let's go ahead and advance the token to stage 4 here. We are in round number 4. And Ricardo has all 3 of his heroes. Nelliclin would actually be kind of fun to bring in here at this point, but I don't see Nelliclin making an appearance because Kotlik has 5 HP, and there's no really high damage heroes left on the board for Zambho. So I feel like this is just kind of a bleed out game now for Ricardo. I'm struggling to figure out what the routes to come back are for Zambho. I guess you could potentially just try to bleed this out here with minions. We see that Ricardo is going to do his best to prevent that. It seems that Ishitosk has been activated, destroying the minion there as a result. Still thinking about the next moves that he wants to make there. I'm not certain if that was Akla or Ishitosk that did that, as both of those heroes are within range of shooting that minion. But with the lead going under Ishitosk, I can confirm then it was Ishitosk that activated as a result. And so Ricardo is going to lead from the deck, it looks like. And then, is this a skirmish or a move, or a worship, or a move? Or is it a little bit of everything? All right. We're going to reposition Akla. Looks like reposition Ishitosk next to Akla. as a skirmish action, I assume. Although I'm not sure why we didn't flip against Yami. Maybe we just don't care to flip against Yami because we're playing a control game. All right, looks like Zambho indicating that Miyuki is going to activate here. So Miyuki is going to skirmish, killing off Akla, or excuse me, attempting to attack Akla. That is going to be a +3. So there's the caged soul that he needed to prevent Sakoshi's death a few turns ago. That will bring Akla down to 10 HP, as Ricardo thought that that was an attack, but it was in fact a skirmish. Zambho being a man of honor there and correcting that misfire. As much as he would have liked to drop the HP, Zambho knows that an honorable win is the only kind of win that one should strive for. So we've seen the skirmish action. It looks like we're going to worship on Kotlik, I assume. We can't see Kotlik anymore, so there's the mark coming down. So that is going to apply a slow to Kotlik, but really I'm not sure that Kotlik cares. Kotlik just kind of stays in the dome and gets control of the outsider. Of course, there is a time warp option available for Miyuki if she were interested in that. But nope, it looks like we're going to commit all into this strategy here, which makes me question what exactly Yami's going to do. Oh, Yami could attempt to go and assassinate Kotlik. With some Shatter Minds or some Migraines or some Nightmares Incarnate, killing off Akla from 10 hit points is extremely doable on round 4. So it looks like perhaps we attack the minion and lead as our actions with Miyuki? Question mark, question mark. Zambho taking some time to think about his plays here, figuring out exactly what it is we want to do. I do see Neil before. Oh, so one of the things that we do get with in-person qualifier view is that sometimes we can get a peek at the player's hands, which we don't get on TTS, and I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but I saw Neil before me, which means that Akla is dead, unless, of course, there is some sort of a nourish or sacrifice play in order to save him. But given that we've seen a number of Doom cards come out already, that's probably going to come down and inhibit any possible actions there. All right, so Miyuki is going to go ahead and end her turn. We are now going to see Akla activate. Ricardo, I think, sensing some danger. Or, nope, we're just going to go ahead and attack. Oh, okay, so that is going to... Oh, maybe I saw Consulting the Heart. That's probably what I saw on the earlier first round flip that I thought was Comatoxin. As we do see that coming down there. Dealing some damage to Yami. On the skirmish action, 3 damage for the skirmish, minus Yami's armor, brings her to 16 HP. So Akla trying to chip her down, I guess, as she is front and center. All right, Akla going to attack the minion. Ricardo realizing that Zambho's only route to victory, and that is a strength over pain. So we're going to go ahead and kill another minion, it looks like, reducing the influence of Zambho's minion squad against the tower. Where's that sacrifice? I can never tell. The sacrifice, and that is strength over pain. Or, because the arts look very similar, but once you get to know what it is exactly that you're looking for, it would help also if I spoke Italian, I could just read the cards. Unfortunately, I am limited to English and a very small amount of Spanish. Neither of which are very useful in reading Italian. Although Spanish and Italian are both Romance languages derived from Latin, so that could potentially pay a little bit for cognates. As I muse about this, we see that Ricardo is going to finish off the activation there. Akla leads from deck. A very good strategy for him here, as Kotlik is not going to be able to get into the dome area, or excuse me, get into the lane to influence. However, as we know, Kotlik is most certainly about to be assassinated here by Yami. As Zambho considers how exactly we want to do this, I would recommend that you... So here's the thing. You can't kill that other minion using Yami because without burning a lot of action economy here, because you have to activate the first minion you target, so the one that's on the control zone, in any appreciable effect in order to get to Akla would burn from Yami's passive unless there's a time glitch, which it doesn't seem to be the case. But then with that, it's unlikely that we're going to be able to kill Akla. as we are going to need a little bit of help here. So Akla is sitting at 8 hit points. Kneel before me will deal 4 points, but you are going to need some help from an attack and or a worship action in order to deal the full 8 points of damage necessary to kill him off. So Zambho, I think, kind of trying to figure out, do I get the minions or how do we do this? So figuring out some positioning here. You could certainly run through one of the minions, end up next to Akla, and then attack, worship, and kneel before me to kill him. That is certainly a viable play. That other minion will survive the round, of course. Miyuki has already activated. But you are at least removing 2 to 4 points of control from Zone 1 if you do that play. So let's see what we do here. Looks like we are making a circle with our fingers, and so we are going to, looks like, get rid of the minion. Oh, boy. So Yami is now going to move next to Akla. That makes sense. We are flipping against Akla for a +0. On the flip, that would have been a useful card to play against him, but nevertheless. I feel like the action economy here was not to the best effect. All right, so this is going to be the final action here. Oh, but a +3. Cythera's ultimate shows up there, which means unless Ricardo has a healing card in hand, then Yami can just assassinate him at the end of the turn. Yami does have 1 mana, or excuse me, has 3 mana left. She's used 1 mana. Zambho, do it. Do it. Now's your chance. Oh, unless you're waiting for the end of turn. That could make sense. If you wait till the end of turn, then you can throw off Ricardo's, oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay. Oh no, okay. Okay, so for anyone who's not sure why I'm laughing, Ricardo just played, oh god, no, make it, no. Okay, this is just getting worse and worse as it stands. So Kotlik has just spammed 2 Imperviouses along with a Granite Skin, which gives him... I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's sober up here and see exactly what happens. So Impervious gives you +2 armor. So Kotlik then has 6 armor total. He then proceeded to play Granite Skin, which gives him another +1 armor for 7. And then you get skirmish damage equal to the amount of armor that you have. So he has a +7 on his skirmish. He then proceeded to blow up every single pillar in the area that he had, which gives him an additional +1 skirmish for each removed pillar, for a grand total of +12 skirmish damage, which he then proceeds to unload straight into Miyuki for massive damage amounts. Oh my lord, that was awesome. So that does take up all of Kotlik's mana here for the round. However, that one play brings Miyuki down, so now we're going to go ahead and pop the Skytear Flux. Do it. More damage. More damage. We're going to play Clear Mind and remove the mark from Kotlik, it looks like. Or from Akla, excuse me. Nope. This was Akla. Or Kotlik. Yep. We're moving the Clear Mind there. And... the flip. Nope. Nope. Ricardo gesturing frantically. I'm not sure exactly what we were gesturing on there. But Miyuki does drop down to 3 HP. Not enough to kill her off, but oh my god, that was amazing. Okay, so 100% worth for the coolness factor and also for the efficiency factor. That was pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. I was a huge fan of that play. But unfortunately, just wasn't enough. So now, that is the end of the round. So now we kill Akla, right? Show it to me. I know you have it. Zambho. Say it with me. This is very easy. I play Kneel before me, and I kill Akla. Oh, looks like we're having some discussion before we kill Akla. All right. So that was awesome overall. We got to see why Kotlik is one of the best late game heroes. Best? Hard to say. I hate using superlatives. We'll say better. We'll say one of the best late game heroes. All right, there it is. All right, never mind. Forget Kotlik because Akla's dead. Unless Ricardo has some sort of a response here in time to save him, Akla is going to die from Kneel Before Me. And wait, okay. We're not going to kill Akla. Interesting. I would have thought we would have killed Akla. You just gave your opponent the dome. I'm very confused. Okay, so we have a +1 on the flip. So overall, that was pretty good there. And it looks like Yami had a +3 on her flip. So even though we didn't kill Akla, which I was always a fan of more blood, in this situation, that actually won the game. All right, so this is why I don't play the game. Because that move there actually wins the game for Zambho. So in an unlikely turn of events, Zambho pulls it out. That was amazing. I had said that Ricardo was going to get it from about a 90% probability, and Zambho goes for the 10% move, manages to do it. That was amazing. So GG, well played from our players here. Wow. That was awesome. Good game to Ricardo and Zambho both. And Zambho, I apologize for doubting you. I will never do that again. So, Zambho wins via Nexus Destruction. Amazing. All right, so with that being said, I guess that's going to wrap up this game here. And so let's take a look at our new card. Let me go ahead and fish the file out here real fast, and then I will go ahead and post this in the general, as we've already had numerous amounts of experience of it not working for me whenever I try to show it on screen, so we're just not going to do that part. So our new card, as I've been hinting, is a blue card. It is 3 mana. It is a +0 on the flip. So you might be thinking, this is, questionable at best. But let's take a look at its effect. Sudden Distraction. Discard a lead card from the target hero. This, in my opinion, significantly enhances the power of being the second player. With this, we can very easily take control of a dome or significantly reduce the pressure in a lane. And there's really nothing your opponent can do about it if you activate it at the end of turn. Obviously, again, of course, we're not counting for the fact that you can, of course, nullify it by pushing someone out with the shoves or the sinkholes or the chasms. Certainly that is the case, as it does require line of sight. It is a target hero. So there is certainly counterplay to it. But overall, a very effective card for the second player. My only gripe with this card is it does make Kenwi more valuable. Of course, anything that makes Kenwi more valuable, I instantly dislike. But nevertheless, there are still a number of heroes that will enjoy this particular card. Control decks especially, this is a very, very valuable card. Not so great in flip decks with the +0 modifier, but being able to just completely remove a lead card, also useful for both leads from the hand and also predicted leads from the deck, because you know your opponent knows that it's a pretty good card if they predict and then lead from the deck, so you're able to remove that with no problem. Very, very powerful, I think, in control games. We'll see what happens as we go on. So please enjoy this new card. We are 26 days, 25 days, depending on how you do your upcoming days maths counting, from the release of the Endless Sun expansion. We have a couple cards left to go. This is just going to continue to add to our repertoire. I am excited to see what our players are able to do with the number of new cards that we've displayed and the new cards that are still coming up. And as Tape says, this card is bonkers. I love it. Yes, it is actually very, very powerful. So this is going to be a very effective card overall, as we mentioned. Really straightforward here. I've mentioned pretty much what it's useful for. There's not too much to analyze about this card. Unlike some of the other cards we've spoiled, it's relatively straightforward in its uses and its effects. So I look forward to seeing our players put good use to it. As of right now, that is going to be the end for this match, so we're going to go ahead and go away for a bit, but I believe we are continuing to stream games, so please stay tuned. We'll be